I consider myself a late bloomer because most of the significant milestones that I have enjoyed in my life happened for me a lot slower than they happened for most of my peers. I mean, I didn't make my first million until I was 24 years old, and I didn't buy my first car until I was 25. But here is the thing. One look and I breathe. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anita, your girl talk bestie and personal development enthusiast. Today we are talking about what to do and how to behave when things do not happen for you as fast as they happen for your peers, aka being a late bloomer. Now, being a late bloomer is very much like plants growing at different paces, even if they were planted at the same time. Each individual plant takes its time to fully develop and sprout, and if you're looking, you might make the mistake of thinking that plants who take too long to sprout are not as good as the ones who grew faster than them. But one day they sprout and bloom into the biggest and brightest flowers, catching up and even sometimes overtaking the plants that sprouted before them. Some people just take time, to reach milestones like discovering their talents, discovering their purpose, achieving goals, becoming confident, and all of that stuff later than other people. And that's okay. If you're that person, it doesn't mean that you are behind or that you are less smart or that you are less important than other people. For women, being a late bloomer means that you are going to achieve certain milestones like figuring out what you want to do with your life, achieving big dreams, feeling truly confident in who you are, or even getting married later than your peers have already done all of these things, and that's okay too. Being a late bloomer can be a good thing in my opinion because it gives you time to really sink in your roots into life. It gives you time to understand yourself, your dreams, and your journey, and that can be a beautiful and a special thing for you. At 23 years, I was already a graduate with no job. Mind you, some of my mates were already working, right? So what did I do? I started a thrift business. One morning, I was getting ready for a job interview and I opened my wardrobe and it was full of clothes. My God, I had 2 wardrobes as an unemployed graduate that was full of clothes, right? And most of these clothes were thrifted. So in that moment, it just hit me like, I can start selling these things. And that's how I started my first thrift business at 23 years old. That business went on to make me my first million at 24. I remember being on Twitter one day and somebody tweeted, how old were you when you made your first million? And I was seeing responses that, oh, I was 19 years old, I was 20 years old. But there were also responses from people who were a lot older when they made their first million. I was seeing people say, oh, I was 26 years old, I was 28 years old. Mind you, I didn't even have a million at this point. I did, but I didn't know. That tweet prompted me to find out. What happened was I had money, but they were scattered in a bunch of accounts. Like I was hustling, doing my business, and everything. So what I did was I pulled this money together, moved money from this account and this account into one account, and I had close to 2 million naira. I did not even know this. Like it certainly felt good around that at that time. It really felt good. It might sound a little pathetic now, but I was very glad. I was very pleased with myself. The year I turned 25, I decided to buy my first car. I mean, yeah, I could afford it. I had the money, but I just didn't feel the need to own a car. But something happened. One day I went to Dubai and Okada man called me customer. Okada man called me customer. Like that was it for me. I'm like, me, do you know who I am? Oh, I vexed and bought my first car 2 weeks later. Making my first million at 24, buying my first car at 25 happened for me a lot later than it happened for some of my peers, because I know that there are people that already had some of these things at like 21 and 22. But it happened anyway. These days, I see people post about buying their first car at like 27 and 28, and usually it's like a GLE or some expensive Benz or something like that. Meanwhile, my first car was like a Toyota Camry. Do you get? And these people are literally, it means that there is beauty in waiting, because they waited until they got something that is actually suitable. You may be familiar with this saying that person will first buy car and buy old model. Guys, it's true. When things are not happening for you as fast as they are happening for other people, it doesn't mean that they are never going to happen. And sometimes when they happen on a bigger scale than you could have ever imagined. Say you are in your 30s heading into your 40s, and this is usually around the time when your mates are starting to own property, having their own house and all of that, and you're barely struggling for your life, like you are still fighting for your life at this point. You might be tempted to start thinking that, oh, I'm almost 40, my life is almost over. But guys, the miracle of waiting is that when God shows up for you at the 11th hour, it's usually loud. Or perhaps you are a woman and you are thinking, I'm already 35 years old, I'm not married, my friends' children are already in secondary school, I haven't even started giving birth, and things like that. And you think that you're running out of time. Believe me, you're not missing out on anything. Or maybe you're actually missing out on something because there's something different and better in store for you. The Bible literally says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the thoughts I have for you. I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. So why don't you trust in the timing of those plans? If you have noticed that things in life do not happen for you as quickly or as early as they happen for other people, it might just be that you are a late bloomer like me. And I promise you, late bloomer to late bloomer, it can be a beautiful experience. Waiting can be a good thing, a hard thing, but still good. It just means that your journey is unfolding in a unique and different way. And believe me, I know how frustrating it is to wait. Personally, I hate to wait, but life has taught me some very valuable lessons, and waiting is one of them. You just wait, you keep working hard, keep doing what you're doing, and things are going to eventually happen for you, sometimes on a bigger and grander scale than you would have done it if you had done it earlier. However, while you are in your waiting period, I need you to do yourself a favor and stop watching people and stop comparing your growth to that of other people, because apart from making you miserable and bitter, it can mess with your joy and hinder your blessings from coming when they are supposed to. Now, we don't want that, do we? No, we don't. So stay joyful, stay positive, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. I'll see you in my next video.